So today I'm going to give you a little bit of a background about myself and then show you around my own implementation of Home Assistant. So I started with this Home Assistant journey just about a year ago when I moved into my new house in July 2021. I've always had an interest in electronics and I started studying electronics when I left school. Did about a year and then I got really bored. I was working in a mine and I was literally just working with these op-amp circuits in a winder control that lifted the lift up and down 2 kilometers down in this gold mine in Johannesburg. And it was really boring. It was hot and dusty down the mine and just put me off the whole thing. So I ended up going into a different area, into sales. But I've always been interested in electronics and technology. And when I moved into this house, my daughter actually decided that she wanted to put some of those Wi-Fi colored LED downlights in her room. So we bought a couple of those and I installed them and started thinking, well, this is quite a cool idea. So got a couple more, got them all set up and just played around with them. They were just Tuya light bulbs and they were working on the Smart Life app. So they were pretty cool, but very quickly I thought, well, there must be more we can do with this home automation thing. So I ended up buying a Amazon Alexa and hooked that up, and wow, that was quite spectacular, I must admit. Great little device, really easy to install, integrated really well with the Tuya app. And then I started looking around at other things. I bought an August smart lock for my front door, and suddenly I thought, well, why have I got all these different apps on my phone that I have to access the whole time? And why do I have to go and set up different schedules in different apps? So I started searching out on the internet. I saw things like Apple HomeKit and all these other systems out there. But something kept driving me back to Home Assistant. So I did a bit more research and I had a Raspberry Pi 3 sitting around at home I've been playing with for a couple of years back. And I thought, well, this is the perfect opportunity. I downloaded the software, got it up and running within a couple of hours, and that's where I started down the rabbit hole. So let's have a look at my implementation of Home Assistant. So let's have a look at my dashboard. I still like to call it Lovelace, just used to it. All right, so if we get started here, we've got these two little person icons, and these are the two of us that live in the house, myself, Simon, and Sue Ellen, my wife. So these are quite cool. You can click on these little icons and it'll basically show you on the map where you are. So this is based on my geolocation and works really, really awesome. I haven't got Sue set up as yet. So if we have a look down the left-hand side here, we've got CPU temperature. I always like to know what's going on with my Raspberry Pi. I have it running on a Raspberry Pi 4 gigs of RAM with an SSD, and it has got a really nice little cooling element on top of it. I don't run the fan, but I'll do another video showing you all about that. So as you can see, we're getting a couple of peaks there. Perhaps there was a backup or running some sort of an activity on there, but other than that, I'm going somewhere between 35 and about 45 degrees Celsius, which is really good. Here's my power consumption. We can click on that and you can see it loading the state history. That's a very, very cool integration. I've done a little video on that, and that's the Home Assistant Glow. Works very well. I've had one small issue with it recently. It seems to be peaking out. You can see there's something going funny on there, and I'm not quite sure what it is. It seems to have a little bit of a bug. It suddenly goes up to like 50,000 watts and just hangs in there. So I think there might be something wrong with the ESP32. I reset the power and then it was fine. So I might have to replace that at some stage, but that's an easy fix. Outside temperature, I've got a Dallas temperature sensor, and this is connected into my Shelly Uni. Works really, really well. Nice waterproof sensor that I can have hanging outside there next to my pump box, and just gives me a nice outdoor temperature reading. LED strip, this is under my kitchen cabinets. so they're shining down. Looks really, really cool. I'll show you how I did that in another video, and that just goes through to a little Tuya smart plug, and that is on Tuya Local. Really, really effective, and we've got some automations with that coming on and off. Next, we've got the lounge lights. So these are set up on a Shelly dimmer. Works really, really well. Connected it up, never had any issues with that at all, and it's really nice being able to switch the light on and off at the switch as well for the Wi-Fi acceptance factor. We got our tank level here. I've done a video on the tank integration that I've done, giving me my pressure and thus my level in my tank. I've got two big tanks that store my rainwater for my house, seeing as we're away from city water. So really good to be able to see. You can see my tanks are almost full now because it's winter at the moment and we've had lots of rain. Front door integration. This is nice. It's the August Smart Lock. Really easy integration into Home Assistant. I've got a little keypad and I can easily access the door and have an automation that basically locks it at 10 o'clock at night, which is great. Bedroom light here. This one I've got on an automation with a geolocation. So basically when I leave the house, we'll automatically switch that light off. That's a Node Red. Garden lights. This is a group. So I've got a front and back outdoor LED lights. These are run with Shelly ones, and I've grouped them together with a new grouping system so that I can just switch them on together and switch them off. And those are in an automation once again. So they come on at sunset and they go off at 10 o'clock at night. Then we've got a temperature sensor. This is a Xiaomi temperature sensor, that tiny little square one, which works on Bluetooth low energy. So that works really well. It connects directly to my Raspberry Pi, to the Bluetooth radio on there. Only limitation is the distance. You can get about 6 to 7 or 8 meters away, and then they start giving problems. So really good for local temperature management. You can see the temperature, that's humidity in my lounge, and there we've got the temperature. So those work very well, and we've got the battery as well. Battery seems to be a bit erratic, but good to know where you're at with the batteries as well. So there is a way to do this with an ESP32, which allows you to have temperature sensing further away from the Home Assistant server. Down the bottom here, this is a fairly new integration to me. This is a Holman weather station that I got from Bunnings. My wife kindly got this for me for my birthday. Really cool. Set it up in half an hour or so. I've just put it up against the fence, on top of the fence. I will show a video on this product and giving you a bit of feedback on this product. Really easy to integrate. It had a HEX integration into Weather Underground, which is a cloud-based weather service, and basically the Home Assistant just pulls the data out of there, and this is really easy. We've got dew point, we've got our winds gusting there at 9 kilometers an hour. Rainfall, you can see there that we've had a couple of rainfalls today. Our barometric pressure, so that's on the way up at the moment. Relative humidity, and once again a temperature sensor. I would really recommend this. I'm planning to do some automations based on this as well. So things like checking if the windows are open when it starts raining and sending me a text message to let me know. This over here is a 4-gang Atham switch. These Atham switches are really nice. I ordered one of these. I've set it up at the front door, and basically this will power my outdoor lights and the indoor light as you walk in. Once again, got an automation running on here. Local control, no issues at all. Very, very nice product. Down here, we've got a Reolink camera. Recently installed this one as well. Very easy HEX integration. It also has artificial intelligence, so it can actually check to see whether it's a person walking by or a pet or a motor vehicle. So still playing around with that, and I'm happy to do a video on that one as well. I've got 2 other cameras as well. I've got a TP-Link and a Tuya camera. Those I haven't managed to get into Home Assistant as yet. Still working on that. If we go to the right-hand side here, I've got my Echo Show. This is a new Amazon that I bought recently, and I will be doing a video on that. I enjoy the Alexas. I've got about 6 of them around the house, most of them the dots. Text-to-speech is great, and music around the house as well. The lounge lights, I'm just playing here with another dashboard element here. This is the mushroom. It's really cool, especially when you use it on your smartphone. It's got that real nice haptic feedback, so you can feel it pressing, giving you a little vibration when you press it. This is just a lamp that I've got at the entry into my house, and I've got this running on a Tuya local smart switch or a plug, and really nice, just switches the light on when I open the front door. SoundTouch 30, this is the Bose SoundTouch. Just got that going this morning. Works really well. What I really like is that I can trigger media directly from the media player in Home Assistant, and it will fire up the speaker and run it. This is another new integration I've just started playing with. It's an alarm system called Alarmo. You can see at the moment it's disarmed. If we want to arm it, we would go arm away, and it starts flashing its arming, and we'll just disarm it now. So I put in my code and disarm, and there we go. Okay, so I'm going to be playing around a little bit more with that. Anyway, I'll be back in a minute to show you the internal system operation of my Home Assistant. Welcome back. So let's have a look at the under the bonnet of my home automation system. So there's our energy monitoring. Really cool. Great to have this comparison feature now, so you can basically see the different days actually compared to each other. Map function, you can see there I've got my geolocation all working. Pretty cool functionality, I must admit. Logbook is really useful, being able to see this where all of the different triggers have been happening and what's been going on in my Home Assistant. History, once again, quite useful. We can actually look at the entities, and as you can see, I've got quite a lot of things going on here, and I can easily go and see what's been happening. Here's my Alarmo panel. So this is the Alarmo system that I'm going to be getting up and running. So there you can see the different modes. We've got the sensors. I've got the Zigbee sensors, the Xiaomi sensors coming in via Zigbee on the Sonoff Zigbee stick. Really cool. Set this up. A little bit of fiddle to get it started, but once I got it all worked out, these are working great. I was working with a Xiaomi hub before, worked for a while, but then it failed, so really happy to switch that over. So there you've got your codes and then your actions. So I will be doing another video once I've got this Alarmo system up and running. Backups, cannot speak highly enough of this little system. Google Backups, and basically just automatically every 3 days, thanks to Stephen Beechin for offering this on the Home Assistant. Really easy, just backs everything up, and you know that if everything falls over, you can always back it up to a new instant of Home Assistant. ESP Home, really good to see this now as part of the Home Assistant and Nabu-Casa. And there's my Home Assistant Glow. That's the main one I've got running at the moment. So if we click there on the logs, you'll be able to see the Home Assistant is pulling in those pulses from my power meter. There you can see every time we get a pulse, it starts sending through the data and doing the calculations to work out the energy usage of my home. Great little system. Hex Community Store. I've been running this for a couple of months. I've got quite a few integrations running now. Really great system. Node-RED, I'm busy teaching myself Node-RED. Very, very powerful tool. I used to work with graphical workflow development when I was developing a CRM system called Pivotal. So I really like working in graphical workflows. For me, they make a lot more sense than code. So this is a little one that basically, as I leave the house, it will check to see my location. And as I move away from the home, basically turn the lights off. Simple, but works really well. I've got another one in here that basically looks at my smartphone, and as I hit a certain number of steps for the day, it sends me a text message saying, well done, you've hit your 10,000 for the day. So I'm planning to do a lot more with Node-RED. Studio Code Server, really good for accessing the content on your configuration files. I was a little bit nervous at first going in here and adjusting these, but once I got a hang of it, they work really, really well. Takes a little bit of a while just to open this up, but once you get in there, easy to access the YAML code and adjust it. The main two things I've got here in my configuration at the moment are the system for my weather station, and the other thing is the temperature monitor that I've got. Media player, I really like this. It's very cool. I've got just a little bit of local media here. I can press play and I can run that directly to my SoundTouch, that's the Bose or the bedroom TV. Really cool. And I like these little radio stations as well. Great new system that's been integrated. MotionEye, this is cool. I've got it working with a local USB camera, just plugged into the Pi directly. I'm still trying to get my other two cameras that are Wi-Fi based cameras like the TP-Link and a Tuya one, but still trying to figure that out. But I look forward to using something like MotionEye for that. Settings, of course, if we go into our Home Assistant cloud, so I am using Nebuchadnezzar. I really enjoy Nebuchadnezzar. I happily pay my money every month, and I really like having the remote access and the integration into the Amazon Alexa. If we look in our devices and services here, you'll see my integrations: Alarmo, the media player, August Lock, Google Cast, ESP Home. Just got that Home Assistant Glow running at the moment. There's my Bose SoundTouch. Hacks, you can see got quite a couple of hacks in there. The circadian lighting is a really nice one. I did get that running before I went to Tuya Local, but unfortunately when I went to Tuya Local, I'm still trying to work out how to get the color change in the bulbs. At the moment they're just working with on-off. So I did try it out. It works really cool. Adjust that temperature of the lights. Really worth it. The Deebot is, I'm going to be integrating my Deebot T9 vacuum cleaner at some stage. That should be a fun project as well. And there's my mushroom cards. So if we just go back here now, let's have a look at what else we've got. So we've got the Tuya Local, really great. That's my LG TV that I've got. I haven't done much with that at the moment. There we've got the iPhones coming in. MQTT broker, I played around with this a little bit. OwnTracks, that's what's loaded on my mobile, and that's what doing my geolocation. Bluetooth low energy, I've got quite a few of those Xiaomi devices loaded on there, but only one operating at the moment. It is limited by that range problem that I was discussing earlier. There's the Reolink camera, got that running very easily. I've got my Shelleys, I've got the dimmer, a couple of Shelly Unis, those are my favorite. Tasmotor, played around with that bit. I've got that Atom plug or the Atom switch, and here's my Sonoff Zigbee dongle, really, really nice as well. So that's there. Then I've got my automations. You can see there that I've got an automation that switched my garden lights on at sunset, and then it switches them off at 10 p.m. I've got some lights that come on in the morning just to keep the dog happy so he doesn't bark and wake us up. And this is a cool one. This basically is a little blueprint that I imported. Goes and looks at all your sensor batteries and sends you a text message if there's one of them below 20%. So you know you need to go out and replace those. Anyway, that's it for now. I'm happy to go into more details about these items, and we'll be doing some more videos on some individual components in my system. But anyway, thanks for everything. And Simon says, have a great week.